Hi everyone, my name is Alexander Ranz from Alaska blockchain ecosystem, and today I will talk in this video about blockchain and its role for traceability in circular economy. Well, traceability, as you will know, is the backbone of circular value chains because all the companies must trust in the product and the process data, so it creates circular flows about evidence across multiple organizations. So the only way to add the needed trust is to create a distributed traceability in a common data layer that is shared between different organizations. It helps to prove the origin, the state, the transformations of all the products and materials across the supply chain in the different manufacturing companies and SMEs. Today, the traceability is a great problem because data is fragmented in different companies and different information systems from different organizations and with different technologies. Many records of information are duplicated, are difficult to reconcile, and all the existing evidences are very easy to alter or to fake. So the audit processes are slow, are manual, and generally they are expensive. And most of the times, the trust depends on intermediaries. So blockchain can help a lot to fit this problem because it creates a shared and tamper-evident record, a shared layer of information that cannot be modified by anyone, so all the participants can trust on that information because all the partners or the companies can see the same history of the products, of the materials. Each event in any of the products or material are time stamped and are verifiable anytime by anyone. So any single actor controls all the information, and the trust moves from organization to a shared rules where all the organization can trust. So not every information need to be on blockchain, but here is an example about the most interesting data that we should add to the blockchain in circular economy project, like the material origin and composition, all the events related to a product ID, to a batch, and serial events, all the actions about the repair, reuse, refurbish, and remanufacture of any product or material, any changes about the ownership, the custody, or the location of a product, and of course any sustainability and compliance evidence that could be needed, for example, in the future for any kind of reporting action. So, how the traceability model works on blockchain? The first step is when a real world event happens. For example, some product goes from one factory to a manufacturing SMEs or to another location. That event is validated by the responsible actor, the organization which is in the ownership of the action, or maybe by the reception company. So a data record is created and signed by any involved participant in that event. This data record is anchored on the blockchain in a way that cannot be modified in the future by anyone, and also that could be verified by anyone at any time, receiving a timestamp of that action. So the life cycle history of the product or the material becomes auditable end to end from the beginning to the end by anyone. But not all the information need to be on chain, as I said before, because for example, any kind of sensitive data related with the industrial processes or confidential information or whatever that don't need to be publicly available, don't need to be on blockchain and should stay, as we call, off chain, which means to stay stored in any kind of database, for example, if it is a structured information or text-based information generally, or it need be in any kind of document file system if that information consists on images, videos, or any kind of multimedia format information or data. So on-chain, recorded on the blockchain, in the other side, must be hashed information, so that after a cryptographic process, in order to keep the anonymity, and also in order to make it compressed and light in terms of the file size. So we store hashed information on chain that should be that should work like an evidence in order to be proved that that kind of document hashed, for example, or that information was that at that moment, and it's also signed or agreed by the people who is in charge of that process. So any private data should keep on off chain. All the heavy files or multimedia files should be also be off chain in their original format, and we only need to keep on chain the hashed information that should be or should work as an evidence, as a way of trust. The identity is also essential because every actor should be uniquely identifiable, so any organization, users, or even devices, as we do in Circuloos, need to be trusted IDs, so unique identification. So to do that, the best way on blockchains are the verifiable credentials that we will talk about in a next video. Also, the permissions should be related with role-based and should be also auditable to know who can access or who can perform which different actions. Also, the trusted identity enables a trusted traceability because we can know who was the organization who wrote some information at some time or at some point of the process. The smart contracts, as we showed in a video before, also play a very important role because enable the automation of the rules that are involved across different organizations. For example, the actions can depend on role, the consent from one part to another, or even the status about different event. Also, the events can trigger validation or approvals to enable different kinds of processes or to enable next steps in one process. And also, the conditions that we want to enforce can be checked automatically in order to only allow some actions or to perform some events only if some requirements are valid or not. Also, it allows to create shared workflows to be faster, more reliable, and also more digital and more automatic in general. An example of a Circuloos type project using traceability here. Suppliers, for example, can register the materials, components, events. Manufacturers can record any kind of information or evidence related with the production and the transformation processes. The service partners can record any kind of information related with the repair or refurbishment actions. Also, the recyclers can certify the recovery and the secondary material output in order to create a trust circular product history where every participant across the whole circular chain has signed and agreed on the information related with the end product or end material that we get at the end of the circular chain. Also, we have to know the business value and the key limits because this transparency that provides the blockchain across the supply chain also helps a lot in order to demonstrate a circular process and an added value at the end of the chain, because we can provide a stronger auditability, more easy to have compliance evidence, and also a higher trust for reuse and remanufacturing models. The reconciliation, it's easier between partners because they don't need to trust so much in the other one. And also blockchain works best with governance, identity, and data standards in order to use some standard processes for everyone, in order to be able to work based on standards, on already well known and documented processes of type of data, type of processes. So, as a recap, and to sum up, we must enforce to know that blockchain does not replace any enterprise systems. We are not saying that we can remove, for example, the database or any kind of information system in any of the involved organization. Blockchain is complementary and works well with the existence and with any kind of existing information systems. Is a common layer that we add on top of the information systems that connect the information of all the participants, especially the evidences of the information of all participants, in order that all the involved organization to trust the other one, or to trust the integrity of the information, that the information was the same at the beginning that at the end of the chain, for example, or whatever. So blockchain becomes just a trust layer between them, connecting information systems, connecting enterprises, and generating a trust ecosystem, or better said, a trustless ecosystem where you don't need to trust on another organization. You just trust on the mathematics or the cryptography of the blockchain protocol. So, especially in circular economy, this trust unlocks a lot of traceability capacities in order to generate more trust on the registered information. And this traceability also unlocks circular business models, enabling different actors to participate, and without needing to depend so much on the trust on another organization. And that is why blockchain matters in this kind of circular economy projects. So, thank you so much. I hope this video was easy to understand what blockchain can provide to the trust and especially to the traceability in circular economy projects. Thank you so much.